All right, we're doing hike 28 of 52. We're at the Umtanum Recreation area, hiking up Umtanum Creek today. When you first start this hike, there is a fork to the left. You don't take that unless you want to bag a peak. This hike can be up to 7 miles depending on how far you want to go in before you hit the closed area. It stays down in the riparian bottom the entire way, so it's a nice riparian zone hike. Lots of aspen trees, scattered ponderosa as you get further up. A nice hike, one of my favorites to do in the fall when you get the fall colors, and fun to do again in January when there's snow on the ground. So the area was actively homesteaded in the late 1800s, early 1900s, so you'll see heirloom fruit trees. There's another one over there. Pear and apple trees mostly as you hike up the creek bottom. So the social engineering on this trail is pushing people to go to the left, but the original trail actually stayed to the right and crossed the creek right over here. The creek crossing was kind of washed out in a flash flood about 5 or 6 years ago. But I think the old crossing, which is what people have been avoiding, is actually the way to go. And it puts you over to the ruins of the old homestead and a geocache on the other side. So you just got to fight down through a little bit of junk. So if you cross here and then walk down this way, there's going to be the remains of an old homestead back in here. There's a geocache back in here as well. Large lilac bushes, overgrown. So you get back in there, there's the old root cellar right there. And what looks like what was probably the front door entrance. With the date on the concrete, 1933. Aspen Tunnel.
Snowberries.
Snowberry Battle.
Mommy, you could put yours in your hat. Mommy, you could put snowberries in your hat. Snowberries.
And this is the first place the girls ever camped out overnight at. February, so many years ago. And this represents, how much was it? Was it like $6 million they spent? 2 million? I don't remember. I'd have to reread the article. They dumped in piles of timber to enhance the riparian habitat all up Umtanum Creek. So as you're hiking along, there will just be piles of timber that have been helicoptered in to help improve the riparian area. They spent several $million. You can look it up, you can Google it. It was a big project about 2 years ago. Aspen Tunnel number 2. So on this hike, there's ravines, and as you hike along, you hike up onto the hills that are essentially these little alluvial fans formed when flash floods pour debris out of the ravines. They're scattered up and down this hike, and I was so observant that it took me like 5 years to even notice what I was walking across. Go figure. Of course, when you use taxpayer money to helicopter in log piles, it's always nice when you drop one right by a campsite so that people can convert it into furniture and firewood. This is essentially where the Umtanum Creek hike ends. There's a nice camp spot that's right up by the closed area sign. It sits right on the creek. It's a nice little spot. The closed area sign is just right up by that dug fir. The trail goes maybe a quarter mile past it as a boot trail, and then it just ends. So if you go any further than that, you're bushwhacking, which can be fun, but not fun if you have your kids with you. There it is, end of the line. Umtanum Creek hike from the Umtanum Recreation area. I see a lot of people park and hike this trail thinking that they're going to Umtanum Falls, but you have to access Umtanum Falls from a different trailhead. Most easily accessed by going up to Ellensburg to get to it.
Thanksgiving Day, and I can't ouch. 14 servings. I forgot the rest. Blah, 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 ouch. After that, turkey and gravy, pumpkin pie, mashed potatoes. Don't ask me why. Too much stuffing from the oven. I was happy till now. I don't care if I never see food again. Except for maybe mom's stuff. Except for maybe mom's blah blah blah. That's pretty good. Friday night pizza. That's pretty good. I don't care if I never see food again. Although, of course, mom's homemade something meat.
That was a whoosh of warm air. Did you feel that?
Just right here.
Yeah. That one spot.
What is that?
I'm not sure.
Maybe the sun's heat radiating off the rock.
It could be. It was so localized.
It's right there too.
Right there too, yeah. All right, so hike 28 of 52 is in the bag. Umtanum Creek hike via the Umtanum Recreation area trailhead. It's a gem of a hike. I think if you live in Yakima, you need to do it. If you don't, you're missing out. Nice riparian area hike. Stay to the right at the first fork, follow the creek, go until you run out of trail. The trail gets worse as you get closer to the closed area. So you do a lot more bushwhacking. There's tons of creek crossings. You're probably going to get your feet wet. If it's flooding, it can be tough. It can be tough to do when it's flooding. So I'd stay home if you've got flooding weather. Otherwise, got to get out here and try this one. This one's great.
At the end, there are little ribbons if you actually want to go to the very end. So just follow those. I know it looks like the trail might go the opposite direction, but it's really, but you have to follow the ribbons.
Follow the ribbons, she says. 28 of 52. It's in the bag.